Coming up on today's show, we're going to recap the latest coming out of Browns training camp, some of the big storylines coming out of there, and we'll just kind of, comb over everything that you need to know. But before we get into that today, we will be live for the Browns-Jets NFL Hall of Fame game. So if you are looking for a watch party to join for the game, or you just want to be a part of a Browns community for a game, if you didn't do that last season, it's a lot of fun. So make sure you mark your calendars now, subscribe, that way you don't miss out, and we're going to have a blast during the NFL Hall of Fame game watching Zach Wilson play, which will be a notable quarterback at least. Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, and we're going to ad-lib for the first minute or so because the biggest news in the NFL world right now is, of course, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. We are filming this right now during our live show, so if there are new developments that come out afterwards, just roll with us. But the latest we heard is that Joe Burrow went down. He got carted off for help to the cart, and Zach Taylor said it was a calf injury. I watched the video of him taking the shotgun snap and rolling out to his right and then pulling up, and didn't look good. My first thought was, that looks like a signature Achilles injury. Fingers crossed that it's not, because I know that there are some sinister people out there that, see this as an opportunity for the Browns to pick up some ground in the division. Come on, don't do that. Don't be that guy, right? It's not fun watching backup quarterbacks play. Hope Joe Burrow is okay. Hope that we see him week 1. But the Browns do play the Bengals week 1. And if Joe Burrow does get sidelined for the rest of training camp and preseason, well, last year he missed all of training camp and preseason with an appendectomy, and he was a little bit slow to start the season, right? He didn't get off to a great start. So that could be something to watch for if he does miss the preseason training camp. But honestly, Joe, hope you're okay, and hopefully you are ready to roll for this season. Now, as for the first story, we're going to sink our teeth into the Elijah Moore hype. Is it real? Are we buying into it? I'm going to give it 3 Bernie heads. I'm going to give it 3 Bernie heads, not 4, and I'll tell you why later on. But yeah, I am buying into the Elijah Moore hype. It has been the biggest story, right? 4 to 8. 4 plus 8 usually equals 12. This year, it's going to equal 6. There's going to be a lot of touchdowns that come out of this connection. And through 1 week of training camp in West Virginia, all anyone could talk about is Elijah Moore. I mean, even the guy he lines up against at practice is talking about number 8. Here's what cornerback Greg Newsome said. I'm just going to tell the NFL to better watch out for him. He's one of the best that I've honestly been against. I'm not just saying it because he's on my team, but I had the pleasure of guarding him every single day in OTAs and now. He's a great route runner. He has speed, so I'm definitely super excited for him. I've been thinking about what Elijah Moore's role in this offense could look like, and I go back to what Will Fuller did for the Houston Texans back in 2020 when Deshaun Watson was the NFL passing leader. He only played 11 games. That was the kiss of death for Will Fuller, a lack of availability. But in those 11 games, he put up 879 yards and 8 touchdowns. I mean, you think about if he played a full 16 games that year, he would have blown past 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. So Will Fuller, definitely a speed demon, and that's what Deshaun Watson was his bread and butter with Will Fuller in that 2020 season without DeAndre Hopkins. So I think there is something to that type of role being replicated in Cleveland now with Elijah Moore filling it. But I know what you're all saying. Petey, why no 4 Bernie heads, you coward, you pussy? Here's why I don't have 4 Bernie heads. I'm doing it as a favor to Elijah Moore and Browns fans everywhere because we have been down this road before where we get all in on all the training camp hype and then it falls a little short. If I give it 4 Bernie heads, it will not deliver. That's just how it works. But if I give it 3 Bernie heads, I know Elijah's watching right now and he's thinking, that overweight guy said I can't get to 4 Bernie heads? I'm going to show him. And please do, because I can't wait for the Elijah Moore train to take off and really be a runaway train. It's going to be like the Jack's the movie guy taking a Pelham 312, 132, something like that. Great movie. I butchered it right there. But that's what's going to happen, except it will have a different ending where the train does not stop instead. But who do you think will have more yards? The reason why I bring this up is we were having a good office debate today as to who's going to have a better season, Elijah Moore with Deshaun Watson or George Pickens and Kenny Pickett. I thought it was a no-brainer. I mean, Elijah Moore, in my eyes, is due for a bigger season in 2023. But Pickens had a lot of great plays for the Steelers last year. But I'm rolling with Deshaun Watson's arm over Kenny Pickett. But let me know who do you think has more yards this upcoming season. Some other news and notes from training camp I wanted to share. Matthew Adams, the linebacker who was signed for largely special teams duties, but also to fill in for an injured Walker Taki. Well, he got banged up earlier in camp, and he was spotted in a walking boot today as we film this on Thursday. So don't expect to see Matthew Adams for a little bit of time. He does not have a roster spot cemented in when you look at Cleveland's linebacker room. It's a camp battle for sure after JOK, Walker, and Taki. Jacob Phillips is probably going to make it, but unfortunately for him, injuries have always been a dark cloud over his career. Tony Fields, I think, is a good shot of making the roster again, along with Jordan Kunaszyk. I think Jordan Kunaszyk is a guy to watch for. With Matthew Adams out, I think Kunaszyk could be someone that slides right in. So if you're looking for a sleeper to watch, I'm going to go with Jordan Kunaszyk. Last season with the Browns, with those stats on screen, 22 tackles, 0 sacks, but he really came on as of late, and he filled in nicely, I thought, down the stretch. So Kunaszyk is someone that, one, it's a fun name to say, Kunaszyk. Once you figure it out, you're like, that's a middle linebacker name if I've ever seen one. That just screams Midwest, Northeast Ohio. So yeah, pencil me in for a believer in Jordan Kunaszyk, kind of turning some heads throughout training camp and sneaking onto this 53-man roster. Before we get to the rest of our programming today, I saw this deal on Fanatics, and you guys know I love to hunt for good deals, and it's the same Nick Chubb jersey I got, except the difference is this was a Christmas gift that was given at cost at full price. The one on screen costs less than $100. Now, it's not easy to find jerseys under $100 anymore, so if you are even just remotely considering getting a new uniform, getting a new jersey, replenishing your closet a little bit, do it now, because if you wait and put it off for a week, the deal's going to be over. You're going to end up paying full price, and it might not come in time before the first preseason game you're going to or regular season game. So do future you a big solid right now, because future you will thank you when it comes in the mail. Chatsports.com/Chubb jersey. It's 25% off. The link's in the comments and the description of today's video. Some other standouts from camp so far. Martin Emerson. I just want to get his name in the airwaves because he has been a big star so far in training camp, which, hey, the intention has been on the offense, but the defense has picked up its fair share of wins as well. They had a good fourth day of camp, and Martin Emerson had a quote-unquote pick six against Deshaun Watson. I mean, the pick six is just him, jumping a route, kind of like Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl, and then just running to the other end zone with the rest of the defense. But Emerson, in his rookie season, 63 tackles, 15 pass breakups. He was, tossed into a larger role as injuries started to stack up in the secondary, and I thought he did an outstanding job. I mean, PFF ranked him as the 23rd best corner out of 118 qualifying players. Is Martin Emerson the best cornerback on this team? No. I still think that goes to Denzel Ward. Was he the best cornerback on this team last year? I would say yes. Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to continue that because tape is out there right now, but I'll tell you this much. It doesn't matter how much tape is out on a cornerback. When you're 6'2", 195 pounds, and you move like you're 5'11", and you're getting the best of both worlds, well, you see why the Browns fell in love with him and selected him in the third round of that 2022 NFL draft. Even though they were stacked at corner, they saw potential and talent at 6'2". They just couldn't pass on. Because, yes, people love to fantasize and romanticize, a quarterback's height and hand size and all that good stuff. But you know what's important? The difference between a 6'2" cornerback and a 5'11" cornerback is the difference of a pass breakup or a touchdown, because that's how much of a wingspan difference there is. So Martin Emerson, I think he's been in for a big season, and good things are coming for the former Mississippi State Bulldog. Other cornerback news I wanted to pass along to you guys. Greg Newsome was spotted in that nickel corner position right in the slot with the first team defense this year. Now, they eventually rotated in Denzel Ward. I don't know what Jim Schwartz is going to do. I know that Greg Newsome does not want to play that slot corner position anymore. It's not that he was bad at it last year. I think that got over-exaggerated, if you will. But he also knows that slot corners don't get paid a whole lot. Like, go look at the top 5 highest paid corners in the NFL. None of them play in the slot. They play in the outside. They play with the big dogs, the Justin Jeffersons, the Jamar Chases of the world. And Newsome knows if he wants to get paid like a good corner, he's got to play the outside. And so he definitely wants to make that his home. I'll be interested to see what Jim Schwartz does for that slot position. But pick a cornerback for me. Greg Newsome or Martin Emerson. Who do you think has a better season this year? I think people, and I'm definitely included in this, kind of moved on from Greg Newsome a little bit too quickly because Martin Emerson last year was the new shiny toy. Let's not all forget about Newsome. First round pick out of Northwestern, really solid first 2 seasons. Missed some time that initial rookie year, but he has been rock solid in my eyes and has not been a liability or anything like that. He just unfortunately has a big fat donut on the board when it comes to career interceptions. Once he gets that monkey off his back, I think he's going to get a lot more eyeballs on him from the fan base. Before we get on out of here, it is time to pick a card. Whew, I'm excited. It's 1-1 between myself and the producers. We got Jack Lauderay, one of the best in the biz behind the camera today. Jack, which card would you like to go with?
Let's go. Oh, boy, I didn't think this through. Let's go.
The hesitancy is not good right now.
It's not that. I just didn't think about it. I really want to pick a good one.
Yeah, that is the name of the game.
10 of clubs.
10 of clubs? Okay. I'm going to go with the 5 of spades. 7 of hearts. 7 of hearts. No, not close at all. A couple air balls from us. But that's going to do it for us on today's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.